Hey, what's going on, guys? Nerfurger here. I have a commission I finished up. This dude is a Saberforge MK2. Let me tell you about this thing. So David hit me up and he was like, hey, can I send this Saberforge Dooku your way? I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Very nice guy. Very easy to work with, work for. He sent it to me and he was like, hey, as long as it's ready by my convention, which hopefully I'll get this out to him in the next few days. By the end of the month, he'll have it. And he is cosplaying as Count Dooku. The only other Dooku that I've done was for a friend of mine in town, Brian, and he had the version 1. And he also did a Count Dooku cosplay, and he looked great. Like, I was like, dude, you are such a good choice for Dooku. Really good costume. David sent this to me, and as soon as I opened it out of the box, I was like, man, this is way nicer. It's way more slim. So I'm gonna get to my gripes afterwards, but for now I'm going to show this off. This is a very problematic install because of how small this thing really is. It is very, very slim and tiny. I don't know how else to show it off. I mean, here's a flagship. I mean, it is small. It is very, very small. It's about the same size as a flagship. Look at that. That's just wild. So originally when we got it, I thought it would be a lot bigger because I'd already done the first one, the version 1, and I was like, all right, hold on, because I wanted to do it. Another reason why I wanted to do it again was, and I thought it was going to be the same size, was I wanted to do a fully removable core, chassis, 28mm speaker, the works, and just have it, you know, I wanted another crack at it. Well, this one is, again, like I said, the most cram-fu, most problematic troubleshooting hilt I've installed, because the inner diameter, the ID, you can't even fit a CFX board inside it. The CFX board is too wide to even go in. So I was like, hey man, I guess Saberforge just designed these to only hold a Golden Harvest V3, which is what they carry. Maybe could have just got this installed from them pretty much, but he was actually like, you know what, I prefer you do it anyways. So, which I'm glad it's done. Like I said, it was a challenge. I'll break it down afterwards. I'm gonna show it off real quick for you. And again, and then I'm gonna talk about things, the things that went into installing this thing. Again, as a shelf piece, as a cosplay piece, this thing is very nice and very pretty. Install design is horrific. There was whoever designed this, I'm sorry, I want to speak to the manager, but again, it feels really nice. Like, it feels good. I get where your heart was, but I would take another crack at designing this thing for an install friendly. So I could only fit a Golden Harvest V3 in it. You could fit a Verso in it. You may be able to fit a Profi. I'm not really sure. Again, I use the 18650 battery because of the runtime. I mean, you're not gonna be able to do a removable core, at least to my knowledge, and I stared at this thing a lot and tried to dissect it and how I was going to do it. If you use a smaller battery, shorter runtime, recharge port is down here, speakers right there, switch is right here, one button. The other one had a button up here, which wasn't that bad, but I guess they were going for a little bit more screen accuracy. I'm not exactly sure how screen accurate this is. To my eye, it looks right. I'm not, you know, again, not the most knowledgeable on Dooku's hilt. Like I said, Golden Harvest was the only board that I could foresee putting in there safely. So as ccsabers lit neopixel connector, originally this is a threaded in blade tip that they have, which is just dumb. There's no reason for a threaded blade. I really don't understand a lot of the decisions they made, but they rolled with it. And then the speaker, I'm not sure it came with the install. It's what he sent me. I think it came with them, so it's whatever Saberforge uses. It's 24mm, a 2.1mm recharge port, tiny switch, and I'm gonna talk about that switch. I will talk about that switch here in a little bit. 18650, was it 3120 milliamp, 15 amp high drain battery, and yeah. So let me go ahead and put it on the Dooku font. I already told you, David. This sadly is not the loudest lightsaber. It's actually on the quiet end, and that is due to design. The speaker is machined to fit in there, so I couldn't fully enclose the 24mm speaker because I mean it's just designed to sit in there. I would have had to have machined it out, and I did not want to drill and modify this thing at all. So that's just how it is, man. The Golden Harvest will push sound a lot better. I have you at 300 right now, but I don't know what speaker this is, and I don't want to blow it. So 300 is better than 100, I'll tell you that right now. But there's so many open spots inside the pommel and the speaker that the resonance chamber is a little bit on the weak end. So like I said, for a shelf piece, for take it around, swing it around, show people, it's still pretty fun. So a little quiet. That's K-Sith's The Duke. Saberforge blade plug. I made a smaller one because the one they give you, it stuck out a little bit once I installed the neopixel connector. There's your ccsabers down in there. And we'll go ahead and put that blade in there. A 1-inch blade. You don't have too much blade depth, but once you get your blade in, just like any lightsaber, get that little bounce compression, not too hard, just enough. And then, I hate to say it, but you gotta kind of crank it down a little bit, because it will wobble unless it's cranked down nice and snug. It's a shame that it's kind of not the loudest, because it is a very comfortable lightsaber for a curved hilt. This is the K-Sith font. We only put 2 fonts on here. I really do like this hilt. Look, this is such a love-hate hilt. This is a love-hate. I hated a lot of this hilt's install. I'm not gonna lie. Once it was done, I was like, okay. I've grown to really like it, the way it feels. I understand where they went with the slimness. There's just a lot of aspects I would love to change about the install to make it perform better. Switch is down here again. Now, it is a little tricky. One button, you press and hold it for like a 1 Mississippi and then clash. So, press and hold, let go. Oh. A little tricky to get that. You have your responsive lockup, depending on where you're holding it. So you press and hold for a minute. Oh man. You will figure it out. It is a little tricky, but it's not too bad. Blasters, press and release. Now I set you up for a twist off for gesture controls. But because it's curved, it doesn't register that well unless you kind of hold it. You have to hold it at a certain angle. I can't get it. I cannot get it. This is so... Oh. Alright. Press and hold for a few seconds. And it'll shut off. So, like I said, I set up the gesture controls in the on the fly menu to where you can get twist off. I like to do that for the Golden Harvest because it's really easy, but since you're curved, your board sits at a certain angle, you have to hold it right, and then even twisting it is hard because of the pommel, so it's not easy. It's not easy. There's no way getting around it. To access the font menu when the saber is off, press and hold for 2 seconds, the activation button, while pointing up, and then let go.
Sound menu.
Sound menu. And for some reason, I don't know why I've noticed this, when I did my VZ Golden Harvest, you can press the button to go up, depending on how you hold it, up or down your sound font selections, your menu. But I realized that it doesn't select all of them, so I just go with the twist, which is ironic because now you can twist it pretty easily.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force.
So now we've got the Kyberphonic one, which is the Count's Claw. Again, so comfortable. I understand what they were doing. Good Lord.
For the dark side.
You point the saber down when you ignite it, or when you retract it. That's where you get your post-offs and or preons and post-offs and stuff. So, oh man, it does feel good.
Another dead Jedi.
I mean, it is a extremely nice sized hilt. And it will look great cosplay. I mean, look at that. Look at this thing. So one thing you can do when you're pointing it down, press for like 1-2 seconds and let go.
Volume control activated.
Now you're at volume control. Now again, like I said, I set you at 300, and for some reason, I don't know why, if it goes into deep sleep, you have to reset this. If you wanted to get it louder, just do that real quick and turn it up.
Volume adjusted.
Now we're a little louder. Not by much. But so one thing I don't like about 24mm speakers, if you cannot get them to push correctly, they're on the weaker side for sure. Alright, let's go to the other one again. So up,
Sound menu.
sound menu,
Data issues complete.
It is obvious that this Count Dooku.
Count Dooku. This is back to the K-Sith one. Now I did set those on some cool things. I have done it before in my video with the Golden Harvest V4, or I'm sorry, the V3 Phase 4. I showed you how to do that. In my VZ video, I kind of went through how to do some simple things. Let's just say, just for the sake of, for you, David, is if you wanted to change some things. So like it's on, right? Pointing it straight up, press and hold, let go, press and hold again for a second, and let go, and you get into color changing. So you can go.
Choose color profile.
So now when you rotate, you can go to different. That looks so good in the green for some reason. You can go here, you can go for, you know, Padawan Dooku or whatever. Man, all those blues look good. Let's go back to red. Press and hold, and that's how you get there, right? Now, what you can do to switch blade styles, because if you have, I think this is classic 4 or 5. See how it had a little flash of light and it's got like a flicker, like a good flicker going on, which I really enjoy. To change that, same thing, pressing it, holding it up, press the button, let go, and press and hold, let go, press and hold. And then it'll go into blade styles. So press and hold.
Choose blade effects.
Blade effects.
Classic 5.
Classic 5, I really enjoy Classic 5.
Classic 4.
It's very hard to change this stuff. I don't know why.
Classic 5.
Alright, we'll go Classic 5. Now if you press just the button once during the blade style changes, you will get a lot of weird stuff going on and you have to cycle through all that crap. Personally, I don't like it. I just do with the classics, which is like technically the blade styles profile. So I stay with that, and then I don't really care much. But if you wanted to mess with all of those, you press it in the profile that you're on, and it'll do like a bunch of different things, you know, unstables and rain blades and Cylon blades and all this weird stuff. But again, this is just what I like. So I've changed to Classic 5, which has a pretty cool power on. Oh, well, maybe I didn't. Oh, I want a Classic 6. Okay.
Choose blade effects. Classic 6.
There we go, Classic 6. You're gonna have to figure out which angle to hold it. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I like that. Alright, now, pointing it down, press and twist.
Saber editor.
Saber editor. Saber editor's
Mode.
gonna get you to selecting your mode. So you can go
Color profile.
color profiles, you can change the blaster colors, the lockup colors, all that stuff on each blade color profile.
Pixel number.
Pixel number is important for, I don't know how long your blade is, but this is a cool function. So just press and hold. Now it's gonna say, all right, go ahead and choose your pixel number and scroll until it goes all the way to the tip. Come back one, and press and hold. Now it will go to that spot.
Ignition speed.
Ignition speed, same thing. Press and hold. You can rotate it, and it'll do the different scroll speeds.
Retraction speed.
Retraction speed.
Battle configuration.
Battle configuration is going to be like blaster bolts, lockup, how you activate them.
Gesture control.
Gesture controls, same thing. Scroll through when you get it. You rotate to on, off. It's like, it would be like swing ignition. You rotate, it'll go on. Rotate, it'll go off. And you just select it, so.
Effect fact slot.
I don't mess with that.
Save and leave Saber editor.
Save and leave. Now you're good. Okay, so time for me to vent. Time for me to go on a rant. Saberforge, what were you doing? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? So, the install on this beast, not a fan. Not a fan at all. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, it originally has a thread-in tip. I just have the neopixel in there. It is held in with E6000 because I drilled and tapped under this claw. There's, you know, these. Once I drilled and tapped, it's too thin a material, so I couldn't get the retention screw flush and lock down the connector. So I was like, okay, that's a pry point. If for any reason this needs to be disassembled, you can get a flathead screwdriver and kind of pry up the neopixel connector, break the E6000, and you're good. So I was like, that's actually kind of a good thing. Your 18650 battery sits in here, right? This is about the length of an 18650 battery, right? That's how much room you have, plus a soundboard, and you stop right about there. So that's about all the room you have. You have that, and then you have right about there for a soundboard. That's it. That's all the length you have. And this piece on threads, right? but that's as far as you go. So it has grooves kind of milled in here to where the soundboard can actually kind of sit and stop there. Then you go down and you have your switch. Now the switch system is stupid. I am just astonished. No, look, I'm sorry to bash on this design, and I'm not a huge hater of Saberforge. I actually really enjoy Saberforge. A lot of their hilts I'm a fan of. I started collecting Saberforge. The switch on this guy, you just needed to do a plunger system, bros. Like, what were you doing? It has a tiny little, like, milled out section for a very, very, very microscopic tactile switch, and then that is housed in here by a screw. So your set screw goes into the red switch guy, but this thing can slide, so you have to get your screw just right, the right height, or it'll jam, slide, or the more you press it, it'll loosen itself. So good lord, that was annoying. I had put once I kind of played with it so much and got where I wanted, I put a dab of E6000 like at the very tip of the set screw, and it's been holding very well. I'm actually very happy with that, but I mean, a plunger system would have been magic. You can get your SD card access in here. Kind of don't want to open this thing up because it is not pretty. I had to do wires dangling, which I'm not a big fan of. Right? I had to have it. I had to have wires hanging. Your soundboard recharge access. SD card access is right up in there. You get, this is how it works. I mean, there's no other way. Because if you do a pin system connector, you'll never be able to get to your SD card. So I was like, okay, this is just how it has to be. So the wires feed up to the switch, this stupid switch, and then it feeds through, and you have your recharge port, wires that go underneath, and then the speakers right there. So one thing I did do was these Dooku's, they come with like these rubber gaskets. These rubber gaskets to clock your pieces correctly. This one right here is fine because it threads into this guy. So like in order to take everything apart, you have to take off the claw and then take all that stuff to get, you know, all this off, because this is not going to unthread. The only thing it will unthread is right there. So this dude over time was unclocking it. So like if I tighten it all the way down, this red switch was, you know, freaking 2 o'clock. So it was all cattywampus, and I was like, I just can't. So I spent some time and I designed and 3D printed a replacement for it, so it lines up perfectly and it's hitting plastic and stopping. That turned out really well. You can't even tell it's in there. So there you go, man. I won't be doing these again. This is probably the last one I will do. The Mark II Saberforge Dooku Count, whatever the heck it's called. No interest in doing this again. Obviously, the hardest part was figuring it all out. I am retiring this guy, one and done. I will do the other one, the bigger one. I'll do that one. But yeah, man, this was a challenge that I overcame. And again, like I said, I'm happy to have it done. It is a beautiful display piece with a little bit of sound. And that's about it for me. Hope you enjoy it though, David. It was neither of our fault. It was nobody's fault, but we got it done. We did it. And I hope you enjoy it. That's what it's all about, is hopefully it sits on your shelf, looks great, complements your cosplay, and you have a good time with it. That's what matters the most. So thank you guys so much for listening to my little rant here at the end. If you made it this far, I've got more stuff coming. As always, thank you, and may the force be with you.
Up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Scruffy looking.